crispy yet chewy rice noodles stir-fried with egg and super tasty marinated chicken. This is like the cousin to pad see ew. If you love pad see ew, you're gonna love this one. Okay guys, so this is a noodle dish that is not as well known outside of Thailand as like pad see ew or pad thai, but it's one of my favorite street food dishes here in Bangkok, so I wanted to share it with you. It's called Kuay Teow Kua Gai, and Kua means to roast, and that's what we need to do with our noodles. We need to really roast them and char them until they're crispy but still a little bit chewy. The whole thing is delicious. First of all, let's start off with our chicken. So I'm using chicken thighs, and I've got quite small little pieces here. To that I want to add some soy sauce and a little bit of oyster sauce. So it looks like quite a bit of marinade here, but I'm not going to add any extra sauce to my noodles when they're in the wok. So this is almost going to be a little bit of saucing for the noodles as well, and a little bit of white pepper. So just mix that through. So just a few minutes for that chicken to get nice and tasty. And while that's happening, I'm going to get my eggs ready. So I'm doing 3 eggs for 2 serves because I like mine just a little bit extra eggy. Now this is one of those dishes where you only want to be doing 2 serves per cook. Any more than that and you don't get the right texture on the noodle. Okay, now let's talk about a couple of the special ingredients you're going to need. So you really need to get fresh rice noodles for this one. It's just not going to work with any others. Well, it will. You'll get a pretty good flavor, but you won't get the right texture. So head to your Asian grocer, look out for these fresh rice noodles, and I've actually got a video on how you can make these at home from scratch as well. So if you don't have an Asian grocer nearby, head to my YouTube channel and check out that video. But when you get a hold of them from the store, they can be quite clumpy. And that's because they're cold as well, because they're from the fridge. If you try to break these apart now, you're just going to get a whole bunch of crumbly bits of rice noodles. So don't break them apart. They will break apart in the pan, so that's fine. So that's one thing you need to get. The other thing is that traditionally when they're doing this street side, a lot of the times they add like a pickled squid or a pickled calamari into the mix. Now that is just too hard to get a hold of for you guys. So one of the things that I do when I'm making this at home is I actually use what's called sweet pickled radish here in Thailand, and you can get this overseas in Australia and in the US at Asian grocers. Adds like a tangy sweetness. I really love it, and it's an optional. You don't have to include that one, but it's kind of a great little pop of flavor in the noodle. And then one other thing we want to get ready is our bowls for serving. And generally you would have some green lettuce leaves at the bottom of the bowl. What you're going to do is as soon as the noodles are cooked, get them in the bowl and then get eating pretty much. So one of the differences between this guy and its pad see ew cousin is that with pad see ew you use 2 types of soy sauce. See ew actually means soy sauce, and you use a dark soy sauce for the noodles. The noodles get quite dark. For this one, we don't really add very much soy sauce at all apart from the marinade, and also we don't use the same green vegetable that we use for pad see ew. So there you go, a little bit of noodle knowledge for you guys. Okay, so we're all set. Everything is ready to go. Now it's time to get really scary hot in your pan. You'll see what I mean in a second. Okay, so I'm using a wok, and my wok is seasoned. It doesn't stick too much. I know this because I use it just about every day, but I would highly recommend, if you don't have a beautifully seasoned wok, to use a large non-stick frying pan. We're gonna get really sticky with these noodles in here, and you don't wanna have a stainless steel pan for this one. The main thing though is that you wanna get this ridiculously hot. Because remember I said kua means to roast, so I wanna get some really hot, roasty char on our noodles. Okay, see this smoke? This smoke is what we want. I'm gonna add in some oil, and in goes the chicken and the marinade. Now spread that chicken out in the pan, because the more you spread it out, the more heat contact it gets, the quicker it cooks, and then you're stir frying and you're not stewing or steaming. Chicken is cooked. I'm gonna move it to the side of the pan. Okay, I want a little bit of oil in the center of the pan, and now for the noodles. And now you're really gonna trust me through this process, guys. We're gonna get a little bit burny, we're gonna get a little bit smoky, but it's gonna be okay. It's exactly what we want. Now these noodles will start out quite stiff. That's okay. Just make sure they're getting into contact with the pan. Okay, I'm gonna give everything a bit of a flip first, just to get those noodles warmed through. Now with that heat, the noodles are starting to loosen up, and here is where we wanna start to be patient and a little bit scared. So I wanna let these noodles go until they get charry and really almost burny on the bottom. I'm just going to dab on a little bit more oil. Noodles kind of soak up the oil as they're charring, so it doesn't end up being oily, but you do need quite a bit to get those noodles going. Now, I don't want to toss this around too much. I kind of want to flip in big chunks. Okay, and you can see we're starting to get some really brown, burny bits now. Oh, look at that color. Okay, so do a couple of flips. Now, let it sit again. Let's get some more charriness on the bottom. Again, just a little bit of oil. Ah, beautiful. Look at that color. And now we want to sprinkle over that pickled radish. Now I'm going to add some sesame oil because I want to add as much smokiness as possible. So at the point where you think, I'm overdoing my noodles, that's the point where you add your egg in. So just pour that around. Okay, just spread that egg out. Just sort of loosen up the sides a little bit. Okay, now this is a serving for 2, so I'm going to start dividing this up into 2. Because the idea here is the finished dish should be kind of like, clump is a bad word, but it should be like a big clump of noodles that's kind of crispy on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to try and flip this over. Almost in one go. There we go. Now, I wish you guys could smell this because the toasted charred noodles almost is like a peanutty, toasty, sesame as well smell. Oh, it's just great. And that's it, guys, we're ready to serve up. Now, what you want to do is try to get like a good chunk of noodle. Don't break it up too much. And slide that on into your serving plate on top of that lettuce. Oh, this is smelling so amazing. Okay, so if you're eating this in Bangkok, you would typically have a few little condiments on the table like sriracha sauce, some chili and vinegar. I quite like at home just to have a little bit of extra soy sauce to dab on top. And then a little sprinkling of chili powder. Totally up to you guys though, you could go with whatever spicy condiment you want. And there you go. Okay, so sort of like pad see ew, same kind of ingredients, but totally different. The texture of these noodles, I really would love you guys to try it because it's like nothing else. Still chewy through the center, but then crispy and really charry and toasty on the edge. Seems so simple, and yet the result is so amazing. If you love noodles, you've got to be trying this one. Do you want some?
Let me try. Ooh.
It's hot. What do you think? Did I pass the test? I think she likes it.
Smell all that egg and then smell all that sauce and
Thanks,
tasty,
Mom.
very tasty.
Thanks, Mom. I'll have that back now. You can have some later. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks, guys.